Welcome to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by LA's First Choice Auto Auction on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. It's your chance to hear directly from the head of Lion Football. Now, live from Topala Catering in downtown Hammond, here's Alan Waddell.
Southeastern came out of its bye week and crushed Houston Baptist Huskies 52-13 on Saturday. Obviously, putting up 52 points will grab a lot of the headlines, but the story of this game was defensively. Houston Baptist came into this game as one of the highest scoring teams in the nation, and their quarterback was leading the nation in passing yards. At the end of the day, HBU only came out with 211 yards passing and were held 30 points below their scoring average. Offensively for Southeastern, quarterback Chasen Virgil had one of his best days as a Lion as the senior completed 22 of 31 for 388 yards and 3 touchdowns. This win moved Southeastern to 3-2 in the league, and if you weren't paying attention, everything lined up for the Lions to control their destiny for a conference championship the rest of the way. So obviously this weekend's game against SFA is extremely important, and we need you, Lion Nation, to fill Strawberry Stadium and help SLU knock off Stephen F. Austin. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by the Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction, live from our home, Topala Catering, right here in Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you may be tonight, whether on the Lions Radio Network or watching live on the Southeastern Sports Network through YouTube. We'll be with you until 8 o'clock, and over the next hour, we'll get Coach Scelfo to break down the win against HBU and then get you ready for SFA this weekend. Also, defensive coordinator Lance Guidry is here, and we'll hear from him. Let's take a break. When we come back, I'll be joined by the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Frank Scelfo. Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo is presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topala on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
What do you love most about being a student athlete at Southeastern?
So I chose teammates for life because on our golf team, nobody's from the same spot, but the friendships we've made, once we graduate, I know we'll always be friends, we'll always see each other, we'll always come back and visit.
All right, welcome back inside Topala Catering here in downtown Hammond. I'm Alan Waddell. This is Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented as always by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction. At this time, we're going to welcome to the show the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions off of a 52-13 win over HBU, Coach Frank Scelfo. Coach, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you, Alan. That sounded good. The score really sounded good.
Yeah,
thanks to everybody that came in tonight, too, man. Really appreciate it.
Certainly so. As we talked last week, coming out of that bye week, that it was going to be important, that it was almost a 5-game season you had left. You had that break there in the middle. You wanted to start fast, start strong. You did that. You scored on the first play of the game in this one against HBU, and you put up 52 points and held a very high-power offense to only 13.
Yeah, I thought, overall, the on both sides of the football and special teams, we did a good job. The extra week off, I think, helped us. We developed some kids, some guys, younger guys. We played a lot of young guys the other night, and we played them in critical times. We didn't just put them in just to put them in and get them experience. We put them in to play and to win, and we put them in situations where they had to go make plays and do things we were supposed to do for us to be successful. So I really thought they did a good job, but that week off helped us again to develop those guys, and that's what we got to do. We sign, get all these high school guys in, and then develop them, coach them, and that's our job, is to coach them and develop it and grow them. And when they become juniors and seniors, then we expect them to be leading us out there on the field.
Well, Coach, as I mentioned to open the show with, when you score 52 points, certainly that gets a lot of the headlines. But when you're looking at the opponent that you took on this past week, I think the 13 maybe gets more of the headlines. And the fact that this was a team that came in, was one of the top scoring teams in the nation. Their quarterback was leading the country in passing yardage. You had them at 211 yards, right around 50% passing in this one whenever he had been up there over 70%.
Right.
So certainly a very good job. You got to tip your hat to that defensive side of the football. They came to play on Saturday and allowed your offense to continue to get the ball and put up points and even scored a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, and again, I think it's even of the 13 points, 6 of them came off of the 2 turnovers.
Yep.
The punt and then fumble early, where they drove, got a first down or so, but then had to kick a field goal. We stopped them. And when you look at things like that happening, when issues take place on one side of the ball or the other, and the other side steps up, things are coming together. And it happened again with Philando's interception. We had just turned it over. They're going in. They got a chance to score. They're getting down there close, and we get the pick. Goes back 97. With shades of Jacksonville State, right? So you start thinking about things like that when your guys are on the field. When adversity hits one side of the ball, how does the other side of the ball react? And I thought we really did a good job. But I think defensively was and Lance will talk about this in a little while, but I think it was one of our better games, the way we played, the intensity level, the way we attacked the football. I thought it was one of our better games this year, if not the best.
You're talking about overcoming adversity, going into the bye week. The Incarnate Word game was certainly not Chasen's best game that he's played here for South. He turned the football over a few times in that one. He really responded in this one, I thought. 22 of 31, 388, 3 touchdowns, protected the football, no turnovers in this one.
Yep.
Talk about his progression and how he played this week.
Well, you go back and look, and I don't care who you are. Even Tom Brady has a bad day, and I'm not saying Chasen's Tom Brady, but I'm saying that guys have bad days sometimes, and he did. And he got past that, and that's the maturity level on him. It didn't affect him in his preparation going into this week. I think the open week and in the practice weeks, we had great practices all week, and he played like he practiced during the course of the week. He played with confidence, and he did the things we expected him to do, and that's what you always want to see, growth in a player, and the maturity level that he showed, being able to step up and do the things that he did during the course of the game really showed, and that's what a senior's supposed to do, especially a senior leader who's also your quarterback.
We talked about it last week, and you mentioned that you anticipated Cole Kelly to come in and play a little bit, maybe not more. He's been playing every week.
Sure.
But there was a point early in the game where he came in and actually directed a drive, went down and got points on that drive. Talk about that decision. It almost seemed like Chasen was more comfortable when he came back in after that possession. Did you see that at all?
Well, maybe. I don't, maybe focus might be a better way to put it. But we did it at every position. And throughout the course of the game, we got 2 young linebackers, Alex Huzar and Herman Kristoff. We put them in the game early on. They played. Wyatt Richthofen played at right guard. Ed McGee played at wide receiver, another freshman. Kendall Collins was in the game. Teron Jones was in the game. Dontrell Smith played 62 snaps at corner. That's a true freshman playing there. We put guys in the game during crucial situations for them to play because we got they're talented enough to play and help us win. Cole's in that same boat.
Yep.
Just because you got a quarterback that you started, but you got a real good one behind him, play him. We got a chance to play him and help him continue to grow and develop. He'll be here again next year. Help him grow and develop and become and get better and get more comfortable with everybody, and everybody getting comfortable with him. So we'll do it every position. We got to do what it takes to win.
Lions win this one 52-13 over HBU. Really a dominating performance. Possessed the football for 36 minutes and 26 seconds. We're 8 of 16 on third down. Held HBU to 3 of 16 on third down as well. So we're able to get off the field in big situations. And I know we talked about it. Defensively, you wanted to create some turnovers. You did that. You got 3 turnovers this week. Yeah. 1 turned into a touchdown. And if you're going to be successful in this back half of the season, certainly got to create some more turnovers. You started that way this way against Houston Baptist.
Absolutely. And again, it was emphasis. We do it every day. I mean, it's in practice. We emphasize it and everything else. But everything that we do is geared towards winning a game on Saturday. So everything in our game plan is geared towards winning a game. Everything that we talk about, the emphasis that we put on tackling, on getting turnovers, on protecting the football. We had 0 pre-snap penalties.
Yep.
That in itself was a huge accomplishment for our guys, and we want to continue to do that. And for us to be able to do those things on the road, in an environment like that, I thought was really I was really happy with it. Really excited about our ball club.
You think this was the best game you played so far to date this year?
I guess. You go back and you look. I don't rank them. I just love the wins. Jacksonville State was a good game. We played well at spurts against everybody. I mean, there wasn't a game that we just stunk the whole game. And I thought we've been getting better as the year goes on, and we're progressing, and we'll take a step back every now and then, but that's what teams do. I mean, individual players, that's what they do. You can have a bad play, you just can't have a bad day, and I think that's what we're getting to. We're guys are making some mistakes, but we're pushing forward as a team, and everybody's coming together. I think we are together.
Lions were certainly dominant in this one. 32 first downs for Southeastern, only 15 for Houston Baptist. Lions snapped it 89 times for 634 yards. HBU 70 times for 259, so almost 400 more total yards in this game. Lions won it 52-13. Again, they moved their conference record to 3-2, and we're going to talk about this later on in our program, but man, this Southland Conference is wild. I mean,
nobody believes me.
I'm just telling you.
Come on.
It is absolutely wild.
It's awesome.
We had some upsets this past week, and really where the thing lines up where you really control your own destiny at this point. So that's all you can ask for at this point in the year.
As a competitor, you just want a shot, right? You just want a chance. Somebody say, you have a chance. Well, we have a chance. We stubbed our toe a couple of times. None of that matters now. It's just about moving forward and taking care of the things that we can control. And if we do that, then we're fine.
Lions will be back in action on Saturday, 4 o'clock kickoff against Stephen F. Austin at Strawberry Stadium. We'll go ahead and take our break. When we come back, we're going to walk you through this game, talk about some of the big plays that took place this past Saturday right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Tokla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Before the house, before the office, the late nights and new bosses. Before the last hugs, the wins and the losses. Before building the team, before building yourself. The rise and grinds, all day, every days. Before the letter, before the dream, there was a kid who loved to play. If you have the talent and dedication to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
What opportunity has Southeastern provided you that you will forever be thankful for?
Southeastern's giving me the education I need for my future. Whether or not I go pro, I know I'm going to be successful.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student-athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are Southeastern!
All right, welcome back. Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction. We're live right here at Toplat Catering in downtown Hammond. If you haven't been with us this year, one thing we're doing a little different is we're giving something away.
Yeah, we got some good stuff.
We got some. I got it right here. Let's see.
Oh, we got.
That's what they gave me. So we're going to give away a nice,
that's pretty cool.
Nice hoodie.
Yeah.
Where did these come from?
Nick Foles donated the money for us to buy it. The quarterback at Jacksonville. Huge Lions supporter, donated a bunch of money, and we were able to get those out for all the players, man.
So we're going to give away one of these at the end of our program. So if you are not in the drawing, see Kimmler Chappell over there. He'll put your name in our drawing. We'll do that with about 10 minutes.
You can only enter once, though, Kent. There's a couple of people in there that tried to enter a couple of times.
Man, we've given away some good stuff, though. Huh? Helmets, signed balls, signed jerseys. We've given away some great stuff. So still plenty of time
Dr. Crane won one last week.
He won the basketball.
He won the basketball last week.
He won the basketball.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The Lion basketball won on Saturday in their exhibition.
They sure did. Against William Carey. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to those guys.
Absolutely.
As well. Lion football certainly won. They beat HBU 52-13. Moved their record to 3-2 in the Southland Conference. Have a big one this weekend against Stephen F. Austin, 4 o'clock kick at Strawberry Stadium. Coach, let's talk about some big plays in this game and kind of walk through and get your thoughts on some of this. And I guess we have to start with really the first play of the game. I mean, it started from that point.
Big.
Yeah, talk about that play, a little trick play, and it works to perfection to get on the board first.
Yeah, I think, sometimes not enough credit is given to the staff for going through and then taking apart the opponent and figuring out what can happen early in a game and getting some explosive plays to kind of get your team jump-started. And I think Greg and our offensive staff does a fantastic job of that. And, ran the flea flicker. We executed it well. Lorenzo went straight over the top. The safety bit like we thought he would, and chasing through a good ball. You say, well, that's an easy throw. It's really not an easy throw to get it out there and get it where he can catch it running because he's so wide open.
We've seen that a few times this year.
Absolutely. Sometimes he just kind of, but he didn't. He did a good job, well executed. O-line did a good job protecting up front, Devontae and everything else. So I thought we did a good job. But the credit goes to the staff for, good design of the play and then knowing when to run it and how to run it.
Certainly helps when you're on the road as well to basically, not saying you're spotted 7 points, but, you look up 17 seconds into the game, you're up 7-0.
It's a great thing. And it's like everything else. The momentum does get going in your favor, and you get a chance to do some things. And it got the excitement, got the energy level up, and not that it was down, but it just got it up. And then we kicked off and went from there.
Coach, I know you've talked about it several times throughout this year that you really like this locker room. You like this team, the way they can handle adversity. And we went through some adversity there in the first quarter. We had the fumble, we had the bad snap on the punt, and they got a couple of short fields. You mentioned that earlier, but both times their offense comes on the field on a short field, an opportunity to really take the lead on us, and you hold them to field goals both times and keep it a 7-6 game.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the support that they have for each other, offensively and defensively, special teams, but the actual players on the field supporting the guys that are on the sidelines. The sidelines supporting the guys that are on the field. So when things do happen, when adversity does hit, when Austin fumbles, he has a nice run and then fumbles. Defensively, they didn't blink, came right out on the field and played their hearts out. And then same thing, we get the botch on the punt, and defense runs out there again, does the same thing, holds it to a field goal. You keep them out of the end zone right there, man, you're going to win. You start swapping field goals for touchdowns, you got a chance to win those games.
When you look at the drive charts after those couple of those miscues, they had 8 plays for 16 yards, 7 plays for 17 yards. You weren't letting them get anything down the field. Everything they did complete was kind of underneath stuff right in front of us. So that was a really good job defensively and by our secondary. Lions respond when it was 7-6, go 11 plays, 75 yards, a 4-yard touchdown run by Teron Jones, and we go back up 14-6 at that point, right there in the end of the first quarter. And Teron Jones is a guy we've seen play, a lot this year, and he kind of gives you that little physical oomph down there by the goal line.
He does. He's a bigger back, about 205 pounds, and Teron went through spring practice, had a sprained ankle, sprained it the first day of the 15 practice, and so we really didn't see him throughout the spring, but he really had a great summer, Alan. And when we got back to camp, we started seeing spurts of what he could actually do. He's also on a couple of special teams, so he's been contributing all year long. He just hadn't been in the backfield quite as much, but the Northwestern game kind of put him out there. Devontae and Marcus were both hurt, so he played. He was the starter and had over 100 yards rushing. And now we're putting him in packages. You're feeling a whole lot more comfortable. And it goes back to, Kerry Jones is our running back coach, and he feels really comfortable with him, but he's helped develop him and get him to come along and do the things that he's doing. But he's a physical downhill runner. I think he's got good vision. He had an opportunity on a couple of plays, make some guys miss in the hole, and he did. And then the physical presence that he brings, I think, is really good.
You were really able to spread the carries around in this game.
Yeah.
Devontae Williams had 11 carries for 51. Teron, 9 for 47. Kendall Collins, 11 carries for 42 yards. So you're really able to kind of spread those touches around with some of those young backs.
Yeah, at the running back position, they're going to get hit. I think what you got to count sometimes is Devontae had, 4 or 5 catches also.
Yep.
Coop had a few catches. So when you look at that, you're not so much the carries, you look at how many times they're touching the football. So we want to try to get them that 10 to 15 touch for all those guys, get them those touches in the game, and they got a chance to be explosive. I think Devontae and Coop are those guys that can really be explosive with the football out in the open space.
I think certainly the play of the game had to be the interception run back for a touchdown. I mean, it was such a big point of the game.
That was pretty awesome.
I mean, they got the football. It's 14-6. They get the ball right there.
We fumbled, had a sack.
Yeah.
Miscommunication and protection. Cole took a sack, and the ball came out. They recovered, tried to, pick it up, and it got scrambled. But we had a couple offensive linemen actually. I think it was Drew Jones and Rendon Miles actually dove and made the tackle.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
And because they did that, they kept them out of the end zone. And then we turned right around and Philando with the pick. I think it was who was it? Chantrez on the coverage.
I think it was Donnell Ward-McGee.
It was Donnell. Yeah, Donnell was on the coverage on the flat route. Ball got tipped up. Philando was right behind him and picked it off and took off down the sidelines.
Certainly a big play in the game, no doubt. They had an opportunity to make that really maybe tie the game. But instead we go up by a couple of scores. And then, Coach, we've seen your team do this since you've been here in Hammond. I feel like our 2-minute drill is as good as anybody. When we can go down the field in a short amount of time, right before the half, you go 10 plays, 63 yards, and kind of put this thing. I'm not saying out of reach, but you're up by 2 touchdowns going into the locker room after a big touchdown by C.J. Turner from Chase and Bergeron.
Yeah, that was we did a good job. We practice that every week, Alan. In fact, last week we went through 3 different scenarios. We went through the McNeese scenario, the UIW scenario, and the Ole Miss scenario. So we're getting that work on both sides of the football. We're going good against good, and our guys are out there on the field working their tails off, getting it done. And there's a lot of confidence. I think especially offensively, there's a lot of things that we're going to do that Greg feels good about, and the quarterback feels good about, our receivers, putting our guys in a position to be successful, and we were able to do that on that drive, and it was big. You get points right before the half, man, that's huge, and we were able to do that.
We've seen your team really play well in the third quarter this year. I thought it really played well in this one. Certainly outscored them 17-0, came out and really took over the game. They had been scoring a lot of points in the third quarter.
Absolutely.
They've been wearing teams down,
their best quarter.
And you shut them out. You outscored them 17-0, and really kind of put the game away at that point. That's obviously huge. You caused a couple of turnovers in that sequence as well, and we're able to get a commanding lead going into the fourth.
We've been really good coming out after half. I don't think we've given up a touchdown in the third quarter this year. I might be wrong. Lance, you remember? I don't know if we have.
He's putting you on the spot.
I don't want to jinx us and knock on wood or whatever. But we haven't. We played well in the third quarter, and that's one of our goals is to not allow points in the third quarter. Come out of it, make some adjustments at half, do what we got to do. And sometimes it's not even adjustments. Sometimes it's telling the guys to take a deep breath. And same thing offensively, getting the ball in the third quarter. Let's doing something with it. And I think we did it on both sides of the football.
Coach, I want you to talk a little bit about Matt DeBlasio's his touchdown catch there. I know coming out of camp, y'all are really high on this guy. Obviously Branson gets a lot of the notoriety. He's been around here. He's one of the really top tight ends in the Southland Conference, if not the best.
Probably the best.
But Matt with a big touchdown there, and I know this is a guy that you're really excited about having here on campus.
Yeah, and he had a chance at another one early.
Yep.
A few series before in the third quarter going in, and just didn't get it done. But I think what you're seeing with him is his development, his growth, and understanding what he's doing. But they did a good job, I think, taking Branson out, but it did leave Matt, left him open. Ran a corner route. Cole made a nice throw on that, but Matt went up, and it was a competitive ball, and he went up and got it. So I'm just so happy for him. He works his tail off. He's one of the hardest working guys we got, and for him to have some success is pretty good.
Certainly the ball spread around to the receivers as well. CJ with 7 catches. He's just steady as a rock, it seems like. This is what he does every week. Javon Connor, 5 catches. Marcus Cooper, 4. Devontae, 4. Austin Mitchell, 2, but one was a 70-yard touchdown, so 89 yards for Austin. Branson had 2. Lorenzo, 1, but it was for 80. Matt, like we just talked about, had a 21. And then Ed McGee and Kendall Collins. Ed McGee, a nice catch over there on the sideline, was able to spin out. I know he's going to be a special player. I know y'all are excited about him.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that whenever we got to play, we're going to put him in the game. He plays in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. From right up the road in Kentwood. A lot of people just, whether they don't know where Kentwood is or they didn't want to take a chance on Ed, we loved him. got him here, and we're so happy to get him. And he works his butt off. He's he's one of those early guys to practice. I think when you look at CJ and Austin and JJ, those guys love to practice. They come every day. They work their tails off, full speed, never taking a break. And it's great for Ed to see that. It's great for Michael Corner to see that, for our younger guys to see those older guys doing the things they're doing, but then it translating over to the field on game day and having success. So we're hoping that they see the same thing in the classroom. Go to class, study your butt off, and then you'll see the success that you're having. And now it's a lifestyle, and that's what we're trying to develop within the program.
Well, Coach, I know you've had a chance to break this one down. We're about to turn the page on HBU. Anything maybe that jumped out to you from watching this tape that we haven't covered? Maybe a guy that stood out to you that we haven't talked about here so far?
I think it was the young guys, Alan. It was a chance for our young guys after that week off for us to really evaluate them. And we got a chance to put them in the game in situations where we were going to test them mentally and physically. And I thought they passed with flying colors. Like I said, I think offensively, when you look at Ed McGee and Kendall Collins and those guys playing, and then you take on defense our two linebackers, Alex and Herm, and put Dontrell Smith, 62 snaps as a corner as a true freshman. Come on, against a team like that. And, there's a little bit of, oh, boy, let's go. And he just matched up. He tried to play physical. Did well in coverage. He did the things he was supposed to do. And, those are the things that you like. You like to see your team coming together from the bottom up, growing. Your good guys are still good, but, boy, you're getting these younger guys to start to play better, and that's where your depth's going to come from.
Lions win 52-13 over HBU on Saturday afternoon. Certainly a big-time win for Southeastern to get that thing headed back in the right direction after that bye week. And they're right in the middle of this Southland Conference race. There's none about it. We're going to talk more about that when we come back. Also, defensive coordinator Lance Guidry's here, and we're going to hear from him right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Just a quick block or
If you have the talent and dedication to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
Why do you support Southeastern Athletics?
So Southeastern is where our family started. We met my wife here, met all our friends here, and now it's given us two beautiful children, and now it's part of our family.
All right, welcome back. We're live here at Topla in downtown Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you may be tonight. If you're listening on the Southeastern Radio Network, or also if you're watching on the Southeastern Sports Network on YouTube, get a lot of people watching that every week. We're now going to be joined by the defensive coordinator here at Southeastern Louisiana University, Coach Lance Guidry. And, Coach, thanks for spending some time with us here this evening, and really good timing. Probably your group's best performance of the year this past week against HBU.
Yeah, I was very pleased the way we played. We played with a lot of energy. I thought we tackled well, and with some young guys had to come in and play and get a lot of reps. Dontrell Smith, of course, played 60-something plays and didn't give up a touchdown, which was good. And anytime you get young guys in there and play in some meaningful minutes, you're going to grow as a football team. It's really going to help in the future as well.
Coach, you going into last week, we talked about it. They were throwing the ball over 50 times a game. I mean, you knew that you were going to have to play well in the secondary, tackle well in the secondary. I know their quarterback didn't get sacked a lot. They were trying to get it out of his hand quick, and they did that, but only 259 yards on 70 snaps. So not only did you cover well back there, but you had to tackle well back there as well.
Sure. We thought going in that we needed to play more man-to-man than zone. We thought the quarterback was a rhythm quarterback, and he looked for spots to throw, and he wanted some open, clean windows. And sometimes those guys in those systems, you do them a favor when you play zone. So we felt like we needed to play man-to-man, and at times we dropped a couple backers out there, even some defensive linemen, and try to confuse them a little bit. But you got to be able to stop the run as well. So I think our kids carried out the game plan exceptional.
Coach, I know that this year we've had some guys nicked up in the back end. You've had to really get creative the last couple of weeks with moving some guys around, maybe a guy that's been playing corner moved to safety, and just talk about the staff and the players being able to do that and move around, because in today's game, certainly a lot of complex offenses you're facing week in and week out, and if you have miscommunications back there, it can lead to big plays. But I think overall that they're kind of moving around and doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, we've had to move some corners to play safety during the season to try to get more athletic against the throwing teams. And then when teams run the ball, you might need a true safety type kid. And then when you lose a guy, Seantrez Spates went out early in the game, we had to play a true freshman. So that put a whole nother wrinkle into it. So I was trying to play him to my side as much as I could. So usually we play a right and a left corner or a boundary in a field, and I just let the freshmen stay to our side so I could talk to them every snap. And Coach Scelfo says I don't even need a headset because I holler every play what to do. So I've been doing that since high school, but if it works, it works. I'm going to keep doing it.
I got to ask you, Colton was telling me before the show, he said, hey, you got to ask him, because he told me we were going to score on the first play of the game. So tell me about that. He said you better get that camera ready.
Well, I knew what play we was going to run because Coach Stevens had told me what they was going to run when we was in the locker room one day. So, of course, we got the ball first, and I saw him with with his recorder, but he didn't have it up. I said, man, you better get that ready. He just kind of looked at me. I said, we're about to score. And sure enough, we threw the flea flicker and scored. I looked like a genius, but it worked.
We're talking with Coach Lance Guidry, defensive coordinator here at Southeastern Louisiana University. Coach, one thing that jumps out the page when you're looking at this line defense so far through this part of the season, through the first 7 games, is much more aggressive than we were a year ago as far as getting tackles for loss and sacks. Talk about your just overall philosophy of being more of attacking style defense. I mean, I know Isaac and Josh Carr in the top of the league as far as sacks, and also we're one of the top teams in the nation as far as tackles for loss.
Yeah, I think you got to create loss yardage plays. You have to do that to get them behind the sticks. I know our offense, they want to be ahead of the chains. You want to create 3rd and shorts to 3rd and medium so you have a chance to make first downs. Well, if you can throw losses early in the 1st and 2nd downs and you get them behind the sticks, you create 3rd and longs, it's hard to complete those passes and move the chain. So I think you got to affect the quarterback. Coach talks about it all the time, trying to affect the quarterback, and that's what we try to do. Try to stop the run as well and just be, without just hanging your corners out to dry, of course. You can't just be so blitz happy. But we try to do things to create problems, and the guys believe in it, and I believe it's a culture you try to create to be physical, be aggressive, and the guys expect me to call a blitz for them to go and either stop the run or get a sack.
We're talking with Coach Guidry here, defensive coordinator for Southeastern. And, Coach, those that know, I mean, obviously you've been around the Southland Conference for a long time in many capacities. And I'm going to ask Coach Scelfo this in a moment, but I want to ask you, I mean, I'm looking at the Southland Conference standings, and this thing is jumbled up. And I don't know if I can ever remember a year since I've been following it where it's been this competitive. I mean, we have so many teams that have multiple losses that are still alive for a conference championship.
I've been in this league since a player. I played in the early 90s, and I've been coaching since 2000 was my first year as a coach, and usually there was 2 or 3 top teams, and everybody else was kind of in the middle or bottom feeders. And the longer we go in this conference and the more teams they've added, there's so much more parity now. From the top to the bottom, anybody can beat each other. And I remember last year I was a head coach at McNeese, of course, and we came into Southeastern. We had 3 games left. We had Southeastern, Northwestern, and Lamar. All we needed to do was win 1, go to playoffs, win 2 to win the conference. We lost to Southeastern, and we played Northwestern. We started getting some nicked up and getting some injuries, and we lost that one in double overtime. And then we lost with a minute left to go in Lamar, and Lamar ended up going to the playoffs instead of us. So it's a crazy league, man. We're right where we need to be. We control our own destiny. Central Arkansas is in the lead, of course, but we play them. So we got to focus on this week, of course. We can't do anything without beating SFA. So, we're just going to go one day at a time, one practice at a time, one game at a time.
Well, that was going to lead me into my next question. I was going to ask you about SFA. I mean, look, they come into this game 1-7. They're 1-4 in the league, but we know anybody that follows this league knows SFA always has good players. And they have a kind of a new coaching staff, and they're buying into all that. So you've seen them be competitive. What challenges offensively does SFA bring to the table that we'll see this weekend?
Well, I think they're more athletic at wide receiver than the last 2 teams we played. I think the quarterback's a little bit of a gunslinger. He's tall. He can see over the pressure. He keeps his eyes downfield. He don't look at the pressure coming at him, and that's scary. They're 1-7, but that don't mean anything. The last 4 games they've really played well. So we're going to have to play really well to beat them. I know that. Coach is going to talk about them, of course, throughout the whole team. But they're a good football team. That record don't mean anything.
Before I let you go, I got to ask you, how's it been here in Hammond? What's your thoughts of Southeastern? And I know that we were rooting against you for a long time, but now we're rooting for you.
Yeah, it's been good. Working for Coach is awesome. He gives us a lot of feedback that he sees things from the offensive side. Of course, that's his background, but he's an old DB coach way back in the day. So Coach has been around a long time around football, and it's to be able to have a guy like that look at what we're doing and seeing the other opponent and be able to help us with things and then support what we're doing. That's big. He's not a guy that's going to second guess. He's seen the game plan all week and come behind and he's not one of those guys. So anytime we're able to coach freely like we are, and Southeastern's a great place, of course. They've had some winning teams here. I've been on the other end of most of those losses when Brian Bennett was here. So got beat on a Hail Mary at the end of a game one time. So it's a good place. Got a good culture here. I think we can create something, build something really special.
What about Kerry Joseph? I'm sure you're glad that he's here wearing the green and gold with you as well.
Kerry was my roommate in college. He was our quarterback, probably one of the best quarterbacks ever playing the Southland Conference, the best ever at McNeese. So getting him over here with us, he's a New Iberia guy from where Coach is from. So it's amazing how things just kind of cross paths. But we're happy to have him here with us and happy to have another guy that I know well on staff.
That's defensive coordinator Lance Guidry. Coach, thank you for spending some time with us. I know that certainly when the news came out that you were coming here to Southeastern, we were really excited to have you, and we'll certainly have your back and look forward to what you're going to do with this defense for the rest of this season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back. Coach Scelfo will be back on the stage. We're going to talk more about Stephen F. Austin. We got our giveaway coming up. We'll take some questions at the end right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are Southeastern!
All right, welcome back. This is Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. As we're going to welcome Coach Scelfo back here to the podium. As Coach, I know that you were really excited to hire Coach Guidry this past off-season, and he's done a really good job. And certainly it was good timing for him to come on this week. It's probably the best defensive performance of the year.
Yeah. You know what? Lance is, he's got a reputation of being a really good coach. And when you have an opportunity to improve your staff, just like we do with our team every year in recruiting, we go out and try to find players that are better than the ones we have. And then the ones we have either have to play better or they're going to get passed up. And we had an opportunity to hire Lance and to come on, and it was probably my best recruiting effort of the season, to tell you the truth, in the off-season, right? But be able to get him here, he's just such a good, like you said, he's known the conference. He understands the conference. He knows the state. He grew up in the state, played high school football, college football, coached here. So he knows everything, and his vision is very similar to what I want from the standpoint of let's recruit locally, let's grow this program from the bottom up, and then let's see how long we can sustain it. That's what we want to do, is just continue to sustain it, take it to places we hadn't been before.
Lions coming off of a 52-13 win over HBU. Before we get to SFA, I want to talk quickly about the Southland Conference standings. And this past week, again, if you weren't following, we kind of had some upsets, I guess, so to speak, or just some games that kind of fell into place, I guess, so to speak. If Southeastern, with our 2 losses already, if we're going to stay alive for a conference championship, then everybody's got to have 2 losses. So Sam Houston was actually leading Central Arkansas on the road 19-0, and UCA came back and won that game. We don't play Sam, so that's why that one's important. We do play UCA, so we have an opportunity later on to play Central Ark. Also, Northwestern got their first conference win of the year, the first win of the year. They beat UIW in overtime, so that was certainly a big win there. And then Nichols, they lost to Abilene Christian. So now you have UCA has 1 loss, and 4 teams have 2 losses, and it's certainly a wild race, and we have a long way to go. Every game is certainly important. Talking to Kimler Chapel before the show, in the Southland Conference, in the history of the Southland Conference, there's only been 1 year where a champion had 2 losses, and that was last year. And who knows? We might be in the same way this year as well, because we have a lot of football to play, and there's only 1 team left with 1 loss.
Well, we hope it happens this year.
Yeah, we certainly hope.
Right?
We certainly hope it does.
Doggone right. That's the plan right now. But Lance talked about it. Like he said, coming through this conference as a player and then as a coach, It's always been 2 or 3 teams, and then everybody else was just real bad. But what you've seen is now with the parity, everybody's investing into their programs. Everybody's growing their programs. They're building facilities. They're recruiting better. They're coaching better. The investment into all of these programs is paying off in dividends on the field as far as wins and losses and being competitive. Houston Baptist is a I guess they've been in, 6 years, 7 years maybe.
Yep.
And they got to the top 25 this year. They've dropped a little bit off in the last few weeks, but they got into the top 25. They got plans to build new facilities over there. He's excited about what's going on. And that's everybody. It's across the board, all the way top to bottom, and it makes it I think it makes it great for the fans. I know sometimes the hometowns they just want to win by 50 every time. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be close games all the way through, and as a coach, you love the competitive atmosphere that this conference brings.
Well, certainly, kind of the point I've been making, everybody's kind of the same. If you play well, you have a good chance to win. If you play poorly, you have a good chance to lose.
A couple of people called me crazy when I said we can win every game in our conference this year.
Yeah.
I said at the beginning of the year we can win every game. But I said we can lose every game in our conference this year. And when we've won, we've played well enough and made fewer mistakes than our opponent did. And when we've lost, we've made more mistakes and they made fewer mistakes, and that's why they came out with the win. And that's what it is. If Northwestern goes into UIW and wins over there on the road at their place on a team that's in first place and it's coming off some big wins, and Northwestern wins. And they should have won the week before against Central Arc. Loses, goes for 2 at the end of the game and loses 31-30. Everybody can beat everybody. Anybody can beat everybody else. And it's fun week in and week out.
Well, Coach, the next opponent on the schedule is Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah.
Did not play them a year ago. They're one of the teams that falls off and then comes back on. So when we lost Sam Houston, we add them. So Stephen F. Austin is back on the schedule this year. They have a new first-year head coach in Kobe Carthel, who comes from Texas A&M Texas A&M Commerce.
Yeah.
And he won a national championship there. So, he knows what he's doing. He did that at the Division II level, and they're trying to change the culture there at SFA. And one thing about where they're located in Nacogdoches, Texas, is that's a hotbed for recruiting. They
Absolutely.
have a lot of players up there, so they're going to bring a talented football team. And don't let the record for our fans deceive you. They're 1-7, but they're similar to Northwestern. They've been in every game, and they've had a chance and just come up short in a few of them.
Yeah, they had a double overtime loss to Central Arc.
Yeah.
They beat Lamar in Beaumont. The thing with them in the last 4 weeks, they kind of went through a change. The first 4 weeks, I think they were tinkering with some things defensively. The last 4 weeks, they've settled down to an even front, what we call a split front, but it's a 4-down front, and their safeties are involved heavily in the run game from a defensive standpoint. And their numbers, when you look at their numbers, passing yards given up, rushing yards given up, points given up, all of those have dropped drastically. Not just 10 yards, drastically over the next 4 games. So you're seeing them just now, and then now they're staying consistent, what they're doing schematically. So now you're seeing them playing a much better defense, and it's starting to show a little bit offensively for them. They're doing a better job on offense. So what you're seeing is a team, he was a new staff coming in, trying to figure out who the guys were, much like what we were doing last year, and trying to get guys to buy into what he wanted to do and his vision. And all that's starting to come together right now. And I think it's going to start paying dividends. I just want it to pay dividends after this Saturday.
Well, Coach, talk about what they're doing offensively. We heard Coach Guidry talk briefly about their quarterback, Trey Scelfo. He's a sophomore, 6'4", 190 pounds, so a tall guy. And what do they want to do? They want to throw the football? Are they balanced? What do we expect to see out of here on Saturday?
Their leading rusher has been really good all year long, and then last week he didn't play. We haven't been able to find out if it was injury, suspension, whatever. We just hadn't. We can't find the information right now, so we're researching that. But they would like to run the football with him. But the quarterback really does a good job when when he's sitting in the pocket, being able to see down the field because of his size. So he's able to see stuff, windows and things like that maybe a shorter guy like the guy this past weekend is a little bit shorter. He struggled when you got the pocket pushed back on him. So this guy will be able to see down the field. I think their 4 receivers are as good as anybody we've played in the last few weeks as a group. Not just one guy, but as a group. All of those guys are dynamic, catch the ball well, have good hands. Run with the ball after catch. I think those guys do a really good job. But again, I think it goes back over to the defensive side on what they're doing defensively, and now they're starting to settle in. You're starting to see them play faster, a lot more comfortable in the scheme that they're in.
they have been susceptible to turning the football over.
They are.
We got to go get some.
We're tied for last with them. So in turnover margin, we're both -9. We were able to switch that this week, pick up 1. But so it'll be you got to take care of the football. You want to win, you take care of the football. And they have been. They've turned it over and fumbles and interceptions. Same as us. It's not, it's no secret. If you take care of the football, you got a chance to win. Besides points, that's the most telling stat that you can find out as far as wins and losses is concerned.
Let's give you some series history between the two programs, SFA and Southeastern. SFA actually leads the overall series 11-8. There was one tie. In Hammond, SFA has a 5-4 lead with a tie over Southeastern. And in Nacogdoches, SFA leads 6-4. Last time we played them was in 2016. It was over in Nacogdoches. Lions won 58-34. We have not played them the last 2 years. They fell off of the schedule. So 4 o'clock kickoff in Strawberry Stadium, and it's been a little while since we had a home game now with the bye week and on the road. So
here's
nice
what's
to get
good.
back home.
You know what? Nobody's playing in Baton Rouge this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Those guys are off. Congratulations to
Ed. New Orleans. We're the only game for the whole weekend.
Saints are off this weekend. They're done. Congratulations to Ed and LSU moving into the top spot in the country. I think they deserve it. I'm really excited for him and what he does for all Louisiana football, not just for LSU. But the opportunity for fans to just be in a great venue like Strawberry Stadium, weather's going to be nice, going to be in the 60s. Come on out. You get to wear you bought new boots, wear those, a new jacket, put that on, everything. It's going to be a green out game, so make sure if you hadn't bought it, go buy green.
So you're going to wear all green?
Yeah, I'm going to wear no, I can't wear green. The players are wearing green.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to wear all green?
Yeah.
Not you, the players.
Yeah, the players.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Who is there? I don't know who there
sorry.
is. Yeah, yeah, so we'll be in all green. So I just want to fill a stadium again. Have the students over there. Just let them get crazy. A 4 o'clock game. They'll be finished in time for 7:30. Come out to eat downtown. Go hit a happy hour, whatever it is afterwards, before. Doesn't matter. We just want to fill a stadium. And really, our fans have done a great job giving us a home field advantage. And we didn't take advantage of it against UIW. We did Lamar and Jacksonville State, but we wanted again this week against SFA and setting us up for the rest of the season.
So the Lions, in a big game, certainly trying to move to 4-2 in the Southland Conference, stay right in the hunt for a conference championship. They're going to play at 4 o'clock in Strawberry Stadium against SFA. Make sure you come to Hammond this weekend. Let's take our final break. We come back. We're going to give away our sweatshirt. So we'll give away this.
Whoever wins can wear that. Yes, there it
Perfect.
is right there.
You can wear this. We're going to give that away. We'll take any questions you have, and we'll wrap it up right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student-athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are
Southeastern!
What do you love most about being a student athlete at Southeastern?
So I chose teammates for life because on our golf team, nobody's from the same spot, but the friendships we've made once we graduate, I know we'll always be friends, we'll always see each other, we'll always come back and visit.
All right, welcome back. Running out of time here on our program. Thank you so much for joining.
That's a shame.
This is Inside. What? That we're out of time?
Yeah, I'd like to just stay.
Just keep staying the whole time, huh?
Yeah.
Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo. We certainly want to always thank our sponsors, Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction, and our host right here at Topla. It's awesome. If you haven't had a chance to come this year, we'd love to have you here from 7 to 8 o'clock every Monday night. Well, hopefully we'll be talking about a Lions victory next Monday night as we take on SFA.
That's the plan.
This weekend. Coach, let's go ahead and do our drawing.
Yeah, we got
what we do every week is
we got a clear bag policy here at Topla.
So we're going to give away a sweatshirt here. So pull this one out, Coach. What you got?
That's awesome.
We do this every week.
I like the sweatshirts.
It's
Those
nice.
came out good.
They did come out
It's
good.
light. Perfect for the game this weekend. Green out game and everything else.
Who we
Read
got
the winner.
Here? Dan Fowler.
Look at there. That is perfect.
Okay, and now here's the next question. I think we have a few sizes. What size? Extra large. We got a large. Let's see what we got here. All right, well, look.
You know, Dan works out.
Okay.
We see him every day.
Try that
I've
one.
never seen a
and
guy
try that
run
one.
as much as he does. This guy's unbelievable.
Well, he needs to run in the sweatshirt.
No, he's going to sweat in it. Don't run in
that's
this.
why it's called a sweatshirt.
I know. Don't. It's too nice. Don't do it, Dan. Don't do it.
Okay. All right, check with her. We'll be here.
His wife's got to size him up. That's what's going on right now.
They might want the smaller one for her.
Yeah, she's going to take the smaller one. Watch. I can see this happening right now.
Well, Coach, we just have a couple of minutes left to go here on our show. Certainly coming off of a big victory. You got what you wanted after coming out of the bye week. You started fast with the 80-yard touchdown right out the gates. You win that one 52-13 over HBU. Sure. Oh, you need a large. Okay, we'll get that for you in just a second.
I told you she would tell him that. He didn't even try it on. She just said, no, do this, Dan.
All right, let me see here.
Y'all been married a long time, Dan. It's
see
brutal. Me too. I'm just telling you.
All right,
it's
I think
hard.
we got here. Okay, is this the large?
Well, he thinks this is Dillard's?
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like the size guide. Here we go. There's the large. Thank you. All right, what were we talking about? Now that we got the sweatshirt, I'll take it out of place here. Well, Coach, kind of give us your final thoughts as we wrap up HBU and get ready for SFA this weekend. Certainly you got what you wanted coming out of the gates over there at HBU. You went on the road.
Yeah.
You got a big victory. After a couple of tough losses to McNeese and UIW, you had that bye. I know that certainly going into that week, you didn't play the way you wanted to play against UIW. You came out and you really had a dominating performance over HBU, and now you have an opportunity to keep that thing rolling against SFA this weekend.
Yeah, we talked about consistency from day one, Alan, how our team needs to be consistent at all things we do. Working out in the mornings, going to class, going to study hall, the way we practice. And we followed up the last couple of weeks in practice, which was, a lot of times you have to see it, and sometimes 18 to 22-year-olds have to see it to believe it. They hear it, but they don't actually believe it. And they saw us practice well these last 2 weeks, and they saw us perform well on Saturday. So the practice today was really good. It was spirited. It was high energy. So we had a good day. We want to stack another one up on top and continue to do that during the week. So what you're doing is, I told you I love our football team. I love the spirit. Yep. I love the energy these guys bring. We're squeezing everything out of them, but they're working so doggone hard. And as they see success happen, and I'm not saying they're not bought in, but they're buying in even more. But what you're seeing is that you're seeing a camaraderie develop in the locker room. The culture's starting to come together where guys holding each other accountable, but then guys giving them a shoulder to lean on sometimes. And you need that in a football team. You got to be able to look at the guy next to you and know that he's got your back and you got his. And I tell them, I don't want you to play with these guys. I want you to play for them because it's more powerful. And by doing that, we're starting to see – we want to see the success on the field. And we see it. It just doesn't always end up on the scoreboard. And I think that's the hard part, the harsh reality of what happens in sports is that the scoreboard is not always indicative of the time and things that you put into it. That it's at the end of the day, it's about the wins and the losses. That's what matters. But there's so much more growth that's taking place that people don't see. And that's the part I'm really excited about with this football team. I want to show them off, man. Can't wait, for our home fans to see them again, man, in front right there in Strawberry Stadium on Saturday.
You got some recruits coming in this weekend?
We do. We got a bunch of them coming in. We're going to have excited about that too. We lose a big class, lose about 23, 24 seniors, and so we got to go reload again. We got to bring a bunch of guys in and watch these pups grow up. And So we got some talented kids that'll be coming in this weekend.
4 o'clock kickoff. Lions will take on Stephen F. Austin this weekend in Strawberry Stadium. We hope that you can certainly make it into Strawberry Stadium. If you can't, you can watch the stream on the Southeastern Sports Network. My man Colton is fired up about this.
It's a green out.
Where
Colton's got his green jacket. He said he's wearing that on Saturday. Yep, that's a big jacket.
Colton's going to be doing the stream, and it's going to be awesome. If you go to YouTube on your smart TV, you can go type in Southeastern Sports Network, and you can watch the game live this weekend if you can't make it here to
Are you going to be doing the play-by-play?
No, I'll be on the sideline running around chasing you.
Okay.
All right, that's going to do it for us.
I can't run.
That's going to do it for us. For Coach Frank Scelfo, I'm Alan Waddell. See you next time right on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Line up, everybody.
Thank y'all.
Broadcasts on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network are a product of Lion Sport Properties. For more information on how you can support future broadcasts, Lion Sport Properties is available at area code 985-549-2570.